Welcome in, everybody. This is Citizen Sports Talk. Kaden Reinhard, Jacob Smith here. Friday night, we just got done with the Floyd County Glenver Highlanders football action. You want to start us off, talk us through that game?
Yeah, it was a good start. It started out with a Buffaloes opening touchdown drive, capped off with a 14-yard rushing touchdown from Sam Phillips. Extra point was blocked to give the Buffaloes a 6-0 lead. And how did the Highlanders respond? Brody Doyle, a 17-yard touchdown to Jace Forrester. Not the last time we'd hear his name. Tonight, the extra point would be good. 7-6 would be the score. Speaking of Forrester, the second drive for the Highlanders would result in a fumble in the red zone. The Buffaloes' next drive would be a Sam Phillips interception in the Highlanders' red zone. Buffaloes had a chance to take the lead there, unable to. And then Cale Vaughn was the one that had the interception, and he would have a big impact on the game later. As Brody Doyle went out late in the first half with a, I believe, shoulder injury, he missed the entire second half. Cale Vaughn took over at quarterback for the Highlanders. He had one touchdown to Cooper Mullins, a 49-yard touchdown. Cooper Mullins did most of the work, just yards after catch on that one to kind of ice the game. Speaking of Cooper Mullins, he had a big field goal to start the fourth quarter that made it a 17-6 game. That big touchdown referred to happened after the field goal attempt, and the Highlanders would be achieving an undefeated season for the first time since 2015. They would clinch the 1 seed for Class 2 Region C, which we'll go over that briefly in a moment. As for the Buffaloes, they dropped to the 3 seed. They've lost 3 of their last 4. Granted, they are to quality opponents. You know, their 3 losses are to Carroll County, who won against James River tonight, Radford, and Glenver. So definitely some quality losses there. I mean, and they've been able to compete with those teams as well. So it'll be interesting to see playoffs next week for the most part. Any thoughts that you had about the game tonight?
I think you can look at that score, see 24-6, and say it was a one-sided battle for Glenver. But, I mean, you look at that game, and it was not like that at all. The Buffaloes were in it until, 10 minutes to go in the game.
I think once the Cooper Mullins touchdown happened, that was kind of like when the game felt like it was over, or the winner had been decided.
Yeah, that was definitely I would say, easily the highest energy level that a game's been all season. Even beating out that Carroll County shootout that we had, almost, I think, over 100 total points in that game. But this game tonight felt like a playoff game, and I think that's what the Buffaloes needed.
And I think it'll be a preview of a potential playoff game. Now, there's a lot of questions potentially. The biggest one is, Brody Doyle's availability for the Highlanders, if he even comes back the rest of the season with that shoulder injury. And if he does, that might reduce his ability to be a starting quarterback and play at the level that he has been playing at. So definitely we'll have to see how that plays out. So if we want to give out the final playoff bracket for Class 2 Region C, like we mentioned, the Highlanders are the number 1 seed with a 10-0 record. Despite the loss tonight against Alta Vista, Gretna secured the 2 seed. Floyd County losing their last 2 helped their cause to secure the 2 seed. Floyd County, despite losing their last 2 as well, they secured the 3 seed. And the final home playoff game recipient in the first round of the regional tournament is the Radford Bobcats, who finished the year winning 2 straight against Floyd County and against Martinsville. They host Appomattox, who's the 5 seed. They got the win over Nelson County tonight to really solidify their spot as the 5 seed. James River lost to Carroll County. We'll talk about that one in a little bit. They were pretty much locked at the 6th seed with the Appomattox win, and of course, them losing to Carroll County kind of solidified it even more. Dan River, they defeated Chatham. They actually jumped Nelson County to the 7th spot with the win, and Nelson County losing like we said, Nelson County lost to Appomattox. They dropped to 8, and they will be going on the road to Glenver. We thought it was Dan River. We didn't realize, or I didn't realize going in that Dan River had the potential to jump Nelson County with the win as well. So that's our official bracket. The first team out, if you will. We have college football playoff brackets coming out, so we have to refer to as that. The Patrick County Cougars were the first team out in this regional bracket as the 9th team in the region, followed by Liberty at 10, Martinsville at 11, and Chatham at 12. So the playoff bracket's set for Class 2, and it'll be interesting to see. So the Buffaloes will be playing the Knights next week. I think we kind of thought that was how it was going to be, but it's official now.
It is. So, I mean, everybody in Floyd can now officially mark their calendars. They're going to be ready for next Friday just as much as this team is. And one thing, going back to the coaches show we showed before game, head coach Tim Cromer has a challenge now to not let this moment get too big for his team. Obviously, they were there last year. They got the first win with him here, so that's off the table. But now it's kind of looking forward. It's time to make that deeper run. Obviously, you got the mud off the boots last year, getting that first win with the Buffaloes, and now it's really go mode. Try to push, maybe see Glenver once more in the regional finals like we've been talking about.
Yeah, I think, like I said just a moment ago, the Glenver team that we saw for the first half of this game tonight, the fact that, the Buffaloes put up a fight in the second half, if that Glenver team that showed up tonight in the second half has to show up through 4 quarters, it's going to be a much closer game than the 24-6 final tonight shows.
I thought the Buffaloes defense looked great tonight. I mean, even in that first half when Doyle was in, they still looked great. I mean, they weren't allowing high octane plays from the Highlanders. They were keeping it very centralized, getting tackles quickly, and I thought they were doing great.
Yeah, I'm surprised with how well they did at shutting down. I mean, Doyle had a couple big run plays, but I thought he was going to, run all over this Buffaloes defense potentially. They were going to be so focused on shutting down the pass that Doyle would have opportunities. And obviously the injury came at possibly the worst possible time, just in terms of killing enemy momentum. That would be big for Glenver. Obviously they came with the win still, but it definitely felt like Glenver had a chance to really control the game the entire second half, and they didn't really do that until the fourth quarter. So we talked about the James River game, who's the Buffaloes will be facing in the playoffs next week. We'll talk about their Carroll County matchup coming up next. We'll take a quick break. You're watching Citizen Sports Talk here on CCTV Channel 20.
And welcome back to Citizen Sports Talk. Kaden Reinhard, Jacob Smith. We just finished breaking down the Floyd County Glenver Highlanders game. Now time for another regional matchup. James River Knights and the Floyd County Buffaloes region taking on the Carroll County Cavaliers. We weren't at that game. Eion McPeak called that game with Lamont down from WEO. What did you see from what did they see from that game, Jacob?
I think from what, talking to Lamont and Ian a little bit, it was a very controlled game from Carroll County early. I think towards the end of the first half and part of the second half, Carroll County kind of allowed James River to get back into it a little bit. This Gavin Benz touchdown from James River in the second half, this Josiah Merchant touchdown that was off a fumble recovery, definitely allowed this to be a much closer game than it felt like to begin with. And, Keelan Ketterer with a touchdown for the Cavaliers, Jaden Brown with a touchdown. Ketterer actually had 2 touchdowns here. Brown actually had 2 touchdowns too. I'm reading these notes that Ian took. And Isaiah Easter had 2 touchdowns as well. And Ketterer had an interception. I read that incorrectly. 2 interceptions. Sorry about that. It's been a long day, Caden. I'm reading my notes wrong. We started here early in the morning talking with Rick Watson for Big Dog Sports Talk, and we're ending the night. It's actually 11:41 at the time of filming. It's been a long day. But Kaylon Ketterer with 2 interceptions, those are big. Of course, turnovers win ball games. And then, Jaden Brown with 2 touchdowns, Isaiah Easter with 2 touchdowns to kind of, get control of this game for the Cavaliers. 4th straight win coming off their bye week. They had their bye week at the right time after the Glenver loss in week 6. And Ian actually got a chance to talk with Coach Greer after the game. Here's what Carroll County head coach had to say after winning his 4th straight game to end the regular season.
Hey, Coach Greer. So after the win today, I'm pretty sure statistically standing, you may have clinched a playoff home game. How does that feel for you in the long run?
It's a testament what our kids have built. They preseason, our seniors get together, our leadership committee, and they'd set goals. Yeah. Kind of building on last year and what we were trying to do. And one of their goals was to host a home playoff game. Yeah. And they kind of checked a lot of them off the blocks, or checked the boxes, and that was kind of one of them. So now the next one is try to win it. So, yeah, but exactly. I just think it's a testament to them and what they're trying to build, and they're committed to building something for not just them but the guys. The next group of guys.
Yeah. So. Well, I guess the next question I have for you, is there anything specifically that you're really proud of for the team, or you think that you need to work on for the long run as well for this playoff game coming up?
We got really sloppy and ugly in the 3rd quarter. And, I don't know if we come out flat or we felt like this thing was over because of the halftime lead. We believe that more football games are lost than won. You can beat yourself very quickly and getting that, oh, no, here we go. So I was glad that we were able to kind of put the brakes on that snowball that was going downhill. So I like our guys' composure in that. But, man, we made some mistakes that you just can't make in the playoffs. Yeah. Good teams will just put the nail in the coffin on you. So, I think focus is our big thing on Monday.
Yeah. Well, one thing I really caught my eye, and I'm sure it catches everyone else's eyes watching film, the formation. It seems the same thing every time. It's just smack mouth football, blue collar. What do you have to say about that? It could be for the long run, or it could just be like where you stand now with it as well.
It's who we are. It's our culture. It's our identity. Our kids like it. It gives our kids a chance to compete with what they're good at. Yeah. Our kids like the unselfishness of it. Yeah. So we'll hand the ball to 6 or 7 different guys. Everybody's blocking. Everybody's carrying a fake out. So, everybody on every play is doing something important. Yeah. No one's just standing and watching or running a route that doesn't mean anything or, so it gives everybody a job every play, and that's just kind of who we are, man. It's not fancy, but it's effective.
I got you. And last thing, coaching staff-wise, how well do you think leading up to this week and next week prepared are y'all as coaches going into the next game?
I have a really experienced coaching staff. Yeah. Like, I have good coaches. I have tremendous coaches, actually, assistant coaches, and, man, they bear the load, and they take care of so many things. They're a great defensive coordinator, a great defensive line. So, I have a very experienced coaching group. They're not very young. We joke about coming out here all the time with our walkers and wheelchairs. But those guys know how to prepare. They've been on staffs that's won it all and been a part of really good football teams, and they know how we do things. They know what the kids' expectations are, what ours are, and they just know how to prepare. So that's been, I'll tell you what, man, that's something that doesn't get talked about enough about how, as far as building the program and turning things around is, man, our coaching staff, our assistant coaches are tremendous.
Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot of work to even be a coach, right?
We talk about O-linemen being the unsung hero. Mm-hmm. Our daggone coaching staff, man, those guys are the unsung heroes. They don't, they just come in every day and work for the kids for hardly nothing, cents on the hour.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. Coach, congratulations on the win.
Great seeing you.
Yeah, great seeing you again too, Coach. And I hope you have a great week next week too. I've lost my voice commentating up there.
That's all right.
And with the cold weather, but I'm going to let you get home because I know it's cold and you said you had laundry to do. So I'll let you get to it.
I'll sit in here and eat little Debbie Christmas tree cakes.
All right. Well, I'll see you, Coach.
Looking at the playoff bracket for Class 3 Region D now, Caden, Magna Vista was at the 1 seed going in. They were 9-0, but despite ending their undefeated season to George Washington by a score of 50-49, they were still able to clinch the 1 seed in Class 3 Region D. Lord Botetourt was able to close the gap there. They jumped up to the 2 seed after their win over Northside. William Byrd stayed at 3 with their win over Stanton River. Carroll County jumped up to the 4th seed with the win. We kind of talked about last week. Lord Botetourt and Northside were playing each other. Lord Botetourt was 2, Northside was 4. So loser of that game was going to fall below Carroll County if Carroll County pulled away with the win in this final week of the regular season. And Carroll County did indeed do that against the James River Knights. So at 5 is Northside after the loss. 6 is Bassett. 7 is Cave Spring, who had the bye week this week. They benefited from a couple of losses this week, specifically Abington losing to Lee County. Abington was the 7. They dropped down to the 8. And then I believe Stanton River losing to William Byrd as well. They stayed at 9. They stay out of the playoff picture, the first team out of the playoffs in Class 3 Region D. Other teams that were out of it, all the teams in the River Ridge that are 3A for the most part, Christiansburg, Hidden Valley, Pulaski County all missed or didn't make the cut. Stanton River, like I said, didn't make it out of the Blue Ridge. And then for the Piedmont District, Tunstall was towards the bottom of the region. So our playoff bracket, again, set for Class 3 Region D. Playoff football coming up next week, and we got a little bit of a surprise with the playoff football next week with this episode or the next episode of Citizen Sports Talk. And it'll be exciting. I think we teased it this morning. We teased it during the game. You'll be excited to see what next week's episode has in store. But trying to wrap things up here real quick, just mentioning the Lady Cavaliers volleyball. They did make the regional tournament for Class 3 Region D. They ended up losing to Abington in the regional quarterfinal in 3 sets. So unfortunate way to end the season, but they did indeed. At least they made the postseason. You know, not everyone has the ability to say that. And I think we'll wrap the week up. As always, you read off our upcoming events for the week.
Of course, I'd love to. So we'll start, of course, with the Cavaliers. They have some action this weekend. Tomorrow, they have a middle school boys and girls basketball tournament. That's at Scott Memorial Middle School down in Wytheville. And then 3 days in a row this week, middle school basketball action. Starting on Tuesday, middle school boys and girls traveling to Pulaski. Then Wednesday, traveling to Galax. And then Thursday, ending it off, hosting the Buffaloes at home. So ending off 3 days, all middle school boys and girls playing each. And then we just talked about Carroll County's playoff game next week, which what they'll have hosting, of course, the Northside. So it looked a little bit like Botetourt, but I knew that wasn't right, so it caught me off guard.
I was getting ready to say, I've been looking at the spreadsheet for the last 11 weeks. I know where each team is at.
You know that like the back of your hand. So now for the Buffaloes next week, of course, as well, they have some action tomorrow. No middle school basketball tournament. A little bit bigger, the VHSL Class 2 State Cross Country Tournament. That'll be in Salem. We just seen Coach Moransel wish them the best of luck. He was taking stats for the Buffaloes, of course, like he always does tonight. Big meet for them tomorrow. Then, of course, Buffaloes as well. 3 matches in 3 days for their middle school basketball teams. Firstly, hosting Patrick. Their boys on Tuesday night will be in the old gym, girls the new gym, and then on that Wednesday they're hosting Auburn, but it'll be backwards. Girls that night in the old gym, boys will be getting the new gym. And then Thursday, no need to worry about gyms on that night because they're traveling to Carroll. I just mentioned that. And then for them, the Buffaloes next Friday hosting, of course, the James River Knights. So that's our next week's lineup for Floyd County and Carroll County sports.
Yeah, definitely an exciting week. You know, headlined by the 2 playoff games next Friday. Carroll County hosting Northside. Based on my math, could possibly be wrong. I doubt it, but there is a chance. We didn't get all the information by the time we recorded on Friday. We were still waiting on the Tunstall Mecklenburg County results as well. I don't think it had enough of an effect to where it really messed up the playoff field too much. But we'll have to wait and see when the official bracket comes out. We could be totally wrong. Wouldn't be happy to admit it, but I would be willing to admit if we were totally wrong next week. But
so for now, the semi-official.
Semi-official. Yes, I like that title. Semi-official bracket, but 2A, everything's pretty official. You know, the Buffaloes hosting James River next week. That was pretty much guaranteed coming into the week, solidified after tonight's actions. So we'll be on the call for the James River Floyd County game, regional quarterfinal here, Floyd County, Coach Beal Field. And what will be an exciting one. We got to call a playoff game last year. We get to do it 2 years in a row. We'll have a crew down in Carroll County as well when they take on Northside in their regional quarterfinal matchup as well. And I believe that'll wrap us up for this episode of Citizen Sports Talk. My name is Jacob Smith.
Kaden Reinhard.
And thank you for tuning in to Citizen Sports Talk. Have a great rest of your weekend, ladies and gentlemen.